Hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest 8-second gaming, and in today's video we are going to be talking about 4 tips to rank up easily in Season 5. You guys want to hit a new peak rank, we're here to help. But if you guys are really looking to take your Overwatch skill to the next level, then you need to check out the GameLeap website right now. Over there we have top level coaches creating the best, most highly informative guides to make you the best player you can possibly be. We've helped a bunch of people elevate their game and you could be next, so click the link in the description, pick yourself up a membership and start to improve today. But okay, let's jump right into things now and start off with tip number 1, keep up with the meta and select the correct heroes. Overwatch is a super complicated game, and it can be incredibly difficult to know who to pick at all times with the diversity in both composition, matchups, and maps. Thankfully, we've got you covered as we're going to try and explain the meta in extremely simple terms and help you pick your hero regardless of your role. Starting off with tank, the meta right now is extremely brawl heavy. Winston can be played against anything other than Junker Queen right now, even into Diva, unless said Diva composition runs a Zenyatta, in which case there's pretty much no point. The reason why you can't really play into Junker Queen is because it's way too easy for even the worst Junker Queen players to simply use her shout when you engage and shoot you or your bubble, which both will likely end in your demise. Not to mention if she lands a knife, she can pull you back if you attempt to jump out. Diva is fine to be played on maps such as Dorado and Watchpoint Gibraltar, since it can be pretty difficult for brawly heroes to find significant value on them, especially on defense. But let's get into the actual brawl tanks. If you've seen our past guides, we have talked a lot already about Ramattra and Junker Queen, and nothing has really changed. Don't get us wrong though, Ryan, Orisa, and Zarya all have decent playability, but for the sake of simplicity, Ramattra is the #1 go-to pick right now. So lock this pick in on maps such as Rialto, King's Row, all Nepal, or Lijiang maps, and even on Numbani after the first point, as Ramattra is almost certain to find value even if you don't know the exact best times to go in and out. There are certainly more maps than this, but you get our point. Ramattra is an amazing pick, but now, what about DPS? DPS meta right now is along the lines of Hanzo, Tracer, Genji, Sombra, and Mei. And other than Mei, all of those picks are pretty much playable at any time, so we can't give you too much help deciding between them other than to avoid picking Tracer if you already have a Genji, since your team would lack essential long-range damage for the poke phase of fights. Mei finds great value on very enclosed maps where you can find huge wall value. Nepal maps, King's Row, you get the picture. And Sombra can even be more lethal on maps with a lot of flank routes, as well as maps with many mega health packs, which by the way are extremely underrated. On a map such as Ilios Ruins, having a Sombra will completely influence the tide of a fight. It has great flank routes and 7 mega health packs in close proximity to where fights will occur, with one being directly next to the point. Support is a bit more diverse even with the few you have to choose from. Ana, Briggs, Zenyatta, Baptiste, Kiriko, and likely the best overall pick, Lucio. Lucio has a very low play rate in lower ranks even though he has an extreme amount of value that he brings to a team, and is almost essential in any brawl composition. We talk a lot about when to play each support in separate video, which we will have linked down in the description, so let's move into tip number 2. And tip number 2 is to be extremely selfish. This really applies to tanks, but it still does help in all roles. Being a selfish player is an extremely effective way to play Overwatch. This means to play for yourself, sometimes taking note of what your team is doing or wishes to do in the upcoming fight, but mainly expecting your team to play around how you think is most effective. This can be applied in many ways. We have talked a lot about Baptiste before and his off-angling potential. As long as you aren't completely running it down, simply going off on your own as Bap, it is completely fine strategy you can take all the way to top 500 easily, assuming your mechanics and mashup understanding meet that level. As a DPS, you are kind of forced to play around your team's engages, unless playing a hero such as Widowmaker or Hanzo, which can get by fine playing solo. Even a Tracer needs to be extremely mindful when their tank will take aggression off of her, so that her engage is unexpected and all that more potent, as there's nothing worse than having your recall forced before your team wishes to engage. Now tanks are the front line. People should already expect to play around you, and with that in mind, do not be afraid to push into territory your team will still have LOS on you from. This doesn't mean completely isolating yourself, but whether you are Ramattra, Monkey, or Ball, playing extremely aggressive and expecting heals to come your way may help limit test your capabilities on your hero, and will certainly find great value when mastered. Moving into tip number 3 though, this is be the first or last to use ultimate. Your ult is a key ability. You already knew that, but how do you use that information? Opening up the fight, looking to be the first one to ult if necessary is one of, if not the best tip here. Whether it's going aggressive with your ult as any tank, which would force all aggression to you, which by the way is your job as a tank, or screaming at your tank as an Ana to go in so you can use nano. You get the picture. Instantly starting off the fight from a good position and making great value for your DPS to follow up from is an absolutely essential skill and will help you tremendously on your journey to top 500. But what about ulting last? Well, let's presume the fight is underway. You don't want to waste your ult on a fight that's already won, but how do you figure out if it's a good time to use it? Generally speaking, if you are one player up in a fight, being patient with your ult is best. Play safe and assume that your opponents are going to take the L and avoid using their own ultimates. However, the moment you see an enemy use an ultimate, that's when you should be looking to desperately use yours, assuming the enemy ult actually got value. You can imagine these circumstances this can be applied, whether it's using Beat or Transcendence, a Dragon Blade, or simply earth-shattering a single target to regain your team's edge in a fight. Being the last one to make the fight-winning move is something you should always be looking to do. Moving into tip number 4 though, this is to limit your hero pool. Playing every hero can be great fun, and there's nothing wrong with adventuring outside your comfort zone, but playing the entire DPS roster as a DPS player can only be considered detrimental at the very least. So if we remain on that example, let's say you have great fun playing Tracer. Let's open up your hero pool so you can play anything in that situation. Simply adding Hanzo and Mei would give you something to play all the time in any situation, especially in this meta, without having to learn 15 new heroes. It's far better to specialize in a handful of picks you've mastered than play everything at silver standard. The reason why Hanzo and Mei are great additions is simply due to them getting the same job done, which is killing the enemy but in very different ways from one another. Mei looking to isolate enemies from their team and Hanzo finding long-range picks with great close-up duel potential. However, if you only enjoy heroes with similar playstyles as Tracer, picking up Genji or Echo would still be extremely beneficial to you overall. As a tank player, the category is usually split up into main tanks and off tanks. If you like heroes that create space for their team or force aggression, Ball, Doomfist, Monkey, Reinhardt are all great. And the DPS advice can be followed by you too. Learning some off tanks such as Diva and Zarya will give you something to do in every circumstance. But if you only like playing main tanks, just learn the ones that you like. Supports are much more crucial when picking in your hero pool, as the meta for support switches a lot. In this Junker Queen Ramatra meta, for example, playing Mercy or Moira is pretty much a horrible idea. Not that it can't work, just that other picks will find so much more value. Therefore, having a wide hero pool consisting of both offensive damage dealers like Zenyatta and high healing heroes such as Ana or Baptiste will ensure you always have something in your pocket for the meta. But let me know your favorite tip to climb in the comments down below, and if you guys want to stay up to date with the latest greatest Overwatch tips, tricks, and news, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. Thanks all for watching. Once again, I'm Gaming, and I'll see you guys in the next one. But also, if you guys are going to be looking to take your Overwatch skill to the next level, then you need to check out the GameLeap website right now. Over there we have top level coaches, including myself, creating the best, most highly informative guides to make you the best player you can possibly be. No matter what you struggle with, we have the solution for you. So click the link in the description, pick yourself up a membership, and start to improve today.